Good morning.
Hello. We actually have a sunshiny day today for a change.
Oh, I know. It's beautiful out. Cold but pretty.
It's my kind of weather.
Yeah, this is nice.
I actually have my bedroom window like open for sleeping at night. I had this one open, but I got a fat black little pain in the butt who keeps trying to get into that window space. Even when I put things on the ledge and my mace is in front of it, he's still trying to find ways and just knocking shit over.
Jeez.
And I'm like, no, we're just gonna have to close that. Don't be a jerk.
Right.
Well, hello, everybody. It was like, let's surprise them and start on time today.
Right.
Woo Woo Wednesday. We should make little pins with little ghosts. Woo Woo Wednesday.
Okay.
Yes.
That's why you don't sleep, Melissa, because your mind is always thinking of something else to do. That's right.
You know, just things.
Yeah, things, better things.
Well, it's a good thing I have an artist that works in the store. I can be like, hey, Courtney, design this for me.
Right.
And, I send it off and see what a prototype looks like. Hello. Has anybody listened to the podcast episode this morning? That one was a fun one to record. The audio sounds a little different because we had actually one of our people, Miss Lady Brooke here, participating with us. So you had in person as well as streaming. So it was quite fun, quite fun. Linda says, good morning from Nevada. The letters on the podcast were imaginative. Am I right, Marianne? Said walk-ins don't remember their past life.
No, they do remember their past lives. Yeah, they do. And that's why they act so different in the body that they walked into.
Because they're still acting that same
Still
way.
Their own personality, correct.
I don't know if she was referring to like the mom who wanted to take over the grandchildren, or that 200 and what was it, 14-year-old.
Man, I just don't know what kind of lives these people have that they can come up with those kind of questions. It's amazing. I think my life is weird sometimes, but I'm thinking, yeah, pretty much. That was my dilemma. Are they real or not? So.
Right. And Swifty's like, that podcast was a riot. I'll have to listen to it again with some wine.
It works well with water though too.
Right. Yes. You had water. Sandy and I had wine. Miss Brooke, I think tea. Was it really?
I think she was drinking tea, slurping tea. Let's get it straight.
Sue Emily was like, that podcast was hilarious. I cannot believe the letters she received.
Yeah, I can't either some days.
There we go. Sounds fine with me. Good morning, ladies. And Sandy says good morning. Good morning from Mentor. So you might have some of the same little chilly morning weather that we have. Hello, Satsuko. You got to see some of that letter reading live. And the Mad Hatter series. That's what we're going to have to start calling those, the Mad Hatter. We all have different things we're drinking and different things we're drinking out of.
That's right.
Miss Sandy, who is one of the letter readers for this episode. Oh, Sue, I hope you're feeling better. Says I was planning on stopping out to see you at the store, but unfortunately I was recovering from COVID.
Oh, gosh. So many people have it again. I can't believe it. It's like coming around.
Well, it's flu season and it's in the flu family.
Right.
Unfortunately. Good morning, everybody. Evangelist says, I can't wait to listen to the podcast at 7 a.m. in Oregon. So I just got it. Yeah, so it just hit for you, that time change.
Yeah, it's a little longer than some of them, but it's definitely funny.
I mean, and that was with taking, about 10 minutes out. So I was trying to cut down, but I'm like, if I cut this part out, then this thing that is referenced later will make no sense.
Right, right.
So you got a lot of it in there.
Did you check out some of the bad words?
No, like when you're like, what does WTF stand for? And the Brooke's like, what the face? My reply is left in because I'm like,
Yeah,
well, it's the podcast. It is not rated for children.
right.
So should be fine. Hello, Christine. We got to visit with Christine very briefly. I waved at you on my way. She was getting ready for development circle on my way out. So that 114-year-old could be true.
You know, and like I said in the podcast, I if that letter had come recently when they started advertising that Anne Rice vampire, how when the first question is, how old are you? And he said 200 and something. I'm thinking, gosh, if he had just written, or that person had just written this letter now, he got that idea from the television. But that letter came 6, 7 months ago. Before that, oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you should be a lot richer at 214. What have you not invested in that you should have?
That's right. I mean, if you knew stuff back then, you could have killed up on Facebook or Yahoo or
Apple.
Yahoo or Apple,
Yeah, all the
anything.
things. Hello
Right.
to Cass, good friend over there on Twitch.
That's right. You could have just killed on sports events.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, seriously, dude, you should be a lot better off than writing letters.
That's right. And asking me what to do. Right.
Well, and then Brooke is reminding us the vampire Earthbound who only targets highly intelligent people.
Right. Right.
You know, because he knows before stepping in
So that he can pick the nice life he wants. Ay.
Amy's like, I think they were all serious. And by the way, I have a proposition for you, but we'll have to split it because it was my idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah, bud, but you can't do it without me, so you lose.
That's right. That's right. Mr. Miyagi says, Marianne, does alcohol affect your ghostiness?
No, I don't drink, so I can't say. And when I was able to drink, meds I can't now, but I don't think so because I was never a big drinker to begin with. So, and I'm Italian. You know, when the day I was brought home from the hospital, I was given a bath and wine, so I should be good.
And Brooke says there's a lot of slurping, but with the raised pinky.
That's right. The pinky has to go up
because we're aliens and we don't have syphilis.
That's right. Those are the two reasons. You got it.
Nancy says, we had a customer where I worked that could have been one of those people. He wore a tinfoil hat under his baseball cap to deflect the alien energy. I got used to him.
I have done houses like that. Believe me. They when I went into the bedroom to check the bedroom out, she had, you know, those heads that you put wigs on, just the white heads. She had 3 of them lined up on her dresser, all with tinfoil hats on the top. And I just looked at her and I said, and what is all that for? Because I had no clue. And she says, oh, it depends on what type I feel like wearing at night when I go to sleep.
So how do you keep that on while sleeping?
I didn't ask. Really didn't want to know. Elastic strap under the neck. Who knows?
Bunch of bobby pins, safety clip.
I don't know.
Okay. I have a hard enough time sleeping. I'm not adding a tinfoil hat to the regiment.
Nope.
Amy, who did watch while it was happening, said you girls with Brooke and Sandy cracked me completely up. I saw it live, but listened again. I was chuckling while, editing. And even though I was there, it was still funny a second time and a third time because I always run through it a couple times to make sure, the correct pieces were out and, not just stuck somewhere. So, yeah, I spent a good deal of time Monday editing and
You
just trying
know,
to make
it's
sense.
really weird. I know how my mind works, and it has to put things in their little compartments when I work and do this kind of thing. I just, I just can't understand how some of these people's minds work. I just don't understand that.
Well, Sandy says she can't wait for more letters, and I know Brooke would be in too. Um, we had a lot of fun.
We did.
And Kathleen says, I'm new here. What's the name of the podcast? The podcast is called When Ghosts Speak. It's available on everything except Apple because I cannot get Apple to accept the RSS code, even though it works fine for the other podcasts that I do and whatnot. Apple is just Apple. So find it on Amazon, Audible. You can listen free anywhere. Marianne, is Ted's computer going off with a bunch of alerts?
It keeps saying system at risk, and it keeps dinging. Ted, what do you do about it?
Okay, and I'm like, I know all my alerts are turned
No,
off.
it's this one, and I don't know. I don't know if he can turn that off.
No, I can't.
You cannot turn that off.
No, they're shutting down.
No, we're
Okay.
not shutting that. No, we're not
So
shutting down the computer.
a little background music for today, guys. It's all good.
Yeah, just a little ding.
Right. But yeah, When Ghosts Speak, you can find it on all the platforms except for iTunes. Let's see. Oh, well, hello. Good morning from Italy. Is this a relative, Marianne?
It is not. At least I don't think so. But again, if you're Italian, you're almost related to everybody.
Amy says she nearly peed her pants with the slurping. Jane says a friend of mine purchased a smudge stick from your store. It came with a warning: smudge sticks are for adults only, not for children or pets. Can she smudge if her dog is in the house?
If your dog is young and healthy, there's not an issue. But if your dog, and dogs do have allergies or health issues, I would say that would be a day for like today to let them go outside and play while you're smudging. And but as long as if the dog is healthy, the same thing. The only thing I definitely say don't smudge with in the house are birds. Parrots, parakeets, budgies, the smoke definitely affects them.
Mm-hmm. Denise says, good morning, ladies. Marianne, I asked previously about your thoughts about the TV show Paranormal Survivor. The question was never presented, but lo and behold, you were on the show last week. I find their stories fascinating. Also, you need to watch Ghosts, which is a sitcom, Thursdays at 8:30, local channel. Love you both.
That Paranormal Survivor thing was done maybe 5 years ago, Ted. We did that Paranormal Survivor thing. Maybe a little bit more than that. It's amazing the way this stuff keeps reappearing. I still have never seen it because I don't even watch that stuff, so I don't know how it was.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are talking about this ghost show. I have not seen it, but everybody seems to really think it's funny. So
it is funny, and it breaks all the rules that you have. Like, they're not supposed to hang out together. They do. And at one point, at least on the American version, because it started out in Great Britain first, I think. At one point, the owners go around saging, and the hippie ghost is like, "Oh, I love it," and she's following the girl around smudging. She's like, "I love the smell of sage." So they completely throw out the window, like everything.
They do the Hollywood version.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
But they've got like a Viking, there's a hippie, there's a businessman, every walk of life ghost in this house.
Yeah, everybody seems to enjoy it. So
let's see. Headskinned says, good morning. If ghosts can travel to inner earth by thinking, then they should be able to go to the moon.
People that astroplane definitely say they go to the moon and other planets. So apparently that is possible.
Let's see. Mr. Miyagi says, I saw energy come off my partner and fill the whole room like ripples of water. Do you think this is the energy that ghosts like to ride? Have you seen this?
You could be seeing an earthbound spirit around that person, or you could have seen energy that was around that person that was either, getting more energy, so it was expanding, and that could be what you see. It's hard to say, but yeah, you probably saw something related to paranormal. Absolutely.
Setsuko said she was there watching us live, and she's going to listen to it again. It's hilarious. Karen's like, "Don't touch the screen, Marianne."
I know, and that's what I want to do because and see, that's what makes it hard on this little thing that keeps bonging. There's a little X there, and I keep thinking, boy, I wonder if you click that, if that bonging would start. But if I even touch the,
Where's your computer pen? Where's your little pen to like?
well, I don't have I need a pencil with an eraser on it. The pen doesn't work.
What
I,
about a stylus thingy with the little rubber end? Can you?
yeah, I would need something like that, and I don't have that in front of me.
Okay.
Do you think that would work? Oh, it's gone. It disappeared. Maybe the bonging is going to stop. Good.
Okay.
I got it away. Isn't that good?
They say you can do
Nah,
it now.
that's not true. I don't know why it stopped.
So back to the smudging with pets.
Yeah.
The question is, what if your dog, I saw it has a heart murmur. Here we go.
Let's put it this way: if you have a dog that's on meds, I would say not to smudge with the dog in the house. And as far as kids go, think about it this way: would you smoke a pack of cigarettes in front of a baby? Of course not. And you're going to be smoking up your house like crazy. So you don't want young children in the house when you're doing that. It's just a matter of safety for the kids and the pets.
What about cats?
Yep, that's an animal. Same difference with that. Absolutely.
Um, Laura says, is there any way to know if spirits are around me? So this is back to basics 101. I think Laura's a new friend joining us.
I believe she is. Why don't you explain the Zoom?
So we have a Zoom session coming up on the 14th. If you are wondering if you have any earthbound spirits, ghost, if you will, in your house, this is the time to join in. It is limited. We went from 15 back up to 20 now that summer's over. So we've added 5 more slots. There are still a few available for the 14th. So it is limited and it's $20. Marianne will go through everybody who's participating. The binging's back. And can answer this question for you. Everybody gets to ask 2 questions, one of which can be, do I have ghosts? You can also ask if you have a curse, if there's a portal in your house. Everybody gets to speak with Mary Ann, so hang in there till we're done. We do start with new people first. Repeats go later because they're usually quicker. They're just following up after, doing some instructions from Mary Ann. But Zoom is the way to find out. And the link to sign up for that is there on the screen. That's going to work all the time until we quit doing Zooms. But we do it twice a month. This one coming up on the 14th is a Friday, starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love everybody, all of our friends joining in, but please be mindful of the time change that needs to happen on your end. We start 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, our time, and we go till we're done. They do sell out kind of quick. Don't wait to the last minute and then start messaging me saying that there's something wrong with the system that you can't sign up. You can't sign up because it's full. Lynn says, if you're unable to smudge due to dog heart murmur, what do you suggest? I would say put the puppy outside in a kennel while you're smudging your house or in your car. Have a friend take it for a walk.
Yeah, let it go visit grandma for a little bit, while you do your thing, or your neighbor. I mean, do it while you're getting the dog groomed. The dog won't be in the house. Do it then.
Mm-hmm.
So get creative. You can figure it out.
Yeah, there's always a way around. Oh, hello, City. Hopefully everything's going good your way. Brooke is wondering if that rippling energy, if that could also maybe be an aura off that person.
It could be. It could be that. And like I said, the energy around an aura, it could have been getting more energy from for some reason or releasing energy. So it could have been one or the other. Again,
Mhm.
that goes on all the time. You're just not aware of it.
Let's see. It says, look at you, Marianne, fix that computer with my controls. Sort of like the AIs.
Yeah, when you see it didn't work. Yeah, the AI.
I just kept thinking about Walt Disney, who supposedly his head is frozen to be reanimated. That's all I kept thinking during that letter.
And that's not true. I was in his offices. No, not true.
Uh, I'm like, great.
Now he crossed over. He's happy and content wherever he is. Some of his relatives, not so much, but he's fine.
Sarah says, I was on a Zoom call in September. Marianne said I had an earthbound in my house. Next day, I saw my cat being harassed by a spirit.
When you get told, or let's put it this way, if you're coming on Zoom, you must think something is going on. Otherwise, you wouldn't come on. And if I verify that there is something, then you become aware. Then you start listening. Was that noise the house settling, or was that a ghost acting up? And was the cat seeing a fly before? Now it's seeing a ghost? Or so, yeah, you just become more aware of what's happening once you get told what's going on.
Mr. Miyagi says also if you have a seizure disorder, that one of the chemicals in sage can trigger. So,
thank you. I did not know that, but I would think people that have seizures would know that information.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and Karen says she puts her cats in the garage.
Yes.
While smudging. Julie says, when I'm around a ghost, I feel happy and high. What does that mean?
You're probably around a ghost that has crossed over, not an earthbound one. When our relatives visit us or friends visit us that have died, we have a good day. It's a good hour. It's a good time. So that's probably, you have somebody good visiting you, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Says my partner's roomie died of OD. Now there's a lot of activity in the house, and recently we heard crying. Have you ever heard of a crying ghost?
In England, because that's what the ghosts do in England, because they think that's their job. I've seen earthbound spirits crying at their funerals. I have seen, but they're not earthbound at that point yet. They still have their white light. As far as people saying that there's a dead baby in the house because they can hear a baby crying, that is not true. Babies, guardian angels, grandmas, grandpas, somebody come and get babies that die. So that is not true. However, if you think about it, there are some cats that when they cry sound like a baby. And if you've got a smart aleck earthbound ghost in the house, they're going to be crying like a baby too, especially if you have babies in the house where you jump up to see what's wrong with the baby and the baby's sound asleep. So, yeah, you can hear baby crying, but it's usually not an actual baby.
Lynn says, safe to smudge my home with a dog heart murmur and maybe allergies as long as the dog is outside. How long should I wait to bring the dog back in?
I would say you can open the windows up after 2 hours. And seriously, open the windows up high after 2 hours. And as soon as the house starts to clear out, bring the pets back in.
It is safe to put a quinseed on a dog's collar.
Yes, the only thing that I suggest with a dog's collar, you've got some, and we've had dogs our whole lives, you get some smarty pants that know how to take their rabies tag off. So if you're going to pay for a quincy charm to put on the dog's collar, make sure the dog isn't going to eat it or lose it. So my suggestion is take the collar that the dog wears to go outside in and wrap it around the collar with either duct tape or masking tapes. It's there, you don't have to see it, and the dog can't get to it.
Okay, so we're not stopping Zoom. I see people freaking out.
Oh, no, no.
No, I only said that because who knows what's going to happen in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. But we've already been doing Zooms for what, 2 or 3 years already.
Yes.
So
No,
um,
we're not stopping. No, 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 no. We're not
as
stopping.
long as people need it, we'll quit. We'll keep doing it.
Yeah, as long as there's filled the twice a month, we will keep doing it. I imagine with the holidays coming, there'll be some downtime because people are busy, over the holidays. But no, we won't. As far as I know, we have no intention of stopping it.
No. Otto says, "Hi, ladies. If I enter a room and feel a quick chill through my body, is that me experiencing a spirit?"
It could be one of three things. There could be negative energy in the room that is doing that to you. There could be a portal in the room that's doing that to you, or it could be an earthbound spirit in the room. And there could be a fourth thing. You could do like that other gal, when you walk in the room, if there's somebody in there that is crossed over, maybe it's a good feeling. So it could be any of those things.
Now, there's a couple of people asking. We do have some that will come on Zoom just to support friends or family who are on, to kind of listen to the stories. So if you're thinking of ever joining, you can, just to listen. Just let me know ahead of time that you don't really have questions, so I don't pull you up and you're like, I'm unprepared. But you can.
And there's a lot of people. There's usually 3 or 4 every time that are just there to hear and to listen and learn, some people say, and they never ask one question. And I laugh about it because they say it's better than Friday or Monday night TV. So there you go.
Friday and Monday, because our second one of the month's usually on a Monday. So.
Right.
Sandy says, "Have you ever come across an earthbound that was the victim of a serial killer?" Because she's currently watching Dahmer.
I did, and it was in California, and it was one of the first year writers. The woman was in one of their houses. Um, Her husband was the writer for the show, but she worked in television also. And that's where this ghost followed her home from there. Um, and got rid of it without a problem. Didn't know it was a serial killer, though, until about 3 or 4 years later, the man that did the killings, they finally caught because of DNA that wasn't available years ago. And he killed a lot of women. And this was one of the people that he did kill. So yes, I have. I've run across people obviously that were murdered, but the serial killer, yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Head says, "I wonder why October and full moons in particular pull in the non-physical. I was born late October, and every year I get freaky spirit experience. Unusually nice weather. Audible knocks on my door."
It is not just October and the full moons in October. It's every month. This goes on all year long. But it's it's the economy. They make a lot of money selling lights to put outside. Decorations for Halloween are bigger now than Christmas. And so it's an economy thing. Push October and make money. I mean, right next, I was in BJ's the other day, and right next to the big ghost standing all blown up was a totally beautiful lit Christmas tree. So this is where we're headed, and that's why. But you worry more about the full moons or the new moons that are eclipses. That's where you're going to get ghosts that have a whole lot more of extra energy when there's an eclipse involved. And that happens 5 or 6 times in a year. So it's not uncommon.
I'll say I've got a 7.5 foot black Christmas tree in my Amazon shopping cart right now. And then I'm like,
And that's going up at the store?
that or like right here or
Gotcha. Okay.
City says for some of the regular ghosts you see, perhaps like in your nearby mall, do you notice any changes in their clothings at times? And when you catch their eye, do you just kind of help them cross over?
I have seen them change clothes at different times. I have asked, where do you get the clothes? They laugh at me. It's like, where do you get cigarettes, cigars, and pipe tobacco? I would be very curious to know where that comes from. So I just laughed. There must be a Dillard's or a Neiman Marcus in the sky or something where they're changing clothes. I don't know. Yeah, if I make the mistake of staring a little bit too long and they get a sense that they're being watched, then they will come up to me. And if they make a big enough fuss, I will make the light and let them go.
Um, let's see. Says if summer bathes a planet in starlight from our sun and the fall is the cooling off time where there are things balancing, maybe that's why the spirits are stronger.
And again, I don't agree with your thinking here about it being a season. It has nothing to do with, in my world, with the seasons because this activity goes on all year long. I think, again, that people live people adjust more to the season changes than earthbound spirits do. All they're aware of that, oh, Christmas is coming because they start seeing Christmas trees, or Halloween is coming because, or they see Easter eggs outside, so it must be close to Easter. So, earthbound spirits have nothing to do with the season changes.
Mm-hmm. Eugene says we got to get you your own late night TV show.
Oh my gosh. No.
Hello, hello. Karen's coming with us to the merry-go-round on Sunday. Just have your name, maybe ID, because I just check in by name. I have the list of people who have paid, so you don't necessarily need to bring receipt.
That museum, for anybody that's coming, you're going to have such a good time. Make sure you have a camera with you, unless you're using your cell phone. But seriously, you will get some good pictures. And it is a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think on Sunday, isn't it?
Could be.
Ted, is there a full moon this Sunday?
Hey, don't look at her now.
Okay, thank you. If you would look.
Ted, the knower of things. I agree, Divine. That's why I want one. And I'm like, I can decorate it not only for Halloween, but then Halloween miss. I'll put little Santa hats on all the Halloween things. Why not? Charlie's mom says, I've done the We Folk solution and still having issues. Got all the windows and doors, and our puppy Charlie is getting harassed all night long. What am I doing wrong?
You seriously, please make sure you are getting every opening. Do you have windows in your attic? A lot of people don't even take those into consideration. Do you have a flue from your vent? Are you in an older house where you have an old coal bin? Some people had incinerators down their basements that were flued out. You have to make sure you do every opening. That's so important. And hopefully you are doing it for 6 months every month for 6 months. Because if you miss once, unfortunately, you got to start over again. Each month gets better. So I don't know how many months you've done, but you should, if you've got every opening, then you should start seeing a difference.
Margie says, oh my God, this Mercury retrograde was a nightmare. Thankful that it's over.
Yes, I'm very happy that it's over also, believe me. This one was a little wild. Yeah, Ted? There is a full moon Sunday. So you will get some really good pictures. If so plan to come out on Sunday. It's a fun, and you get to ride that cool carousel. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, nobody under 18. You would think, oh, I'm bringing my kids to that, but nope, not this time.
Brooke, back to crossing over murder victims. Have you crossed over any of the actual murderers? Or do they stay in the portals?
It's usually half and half, Brooke. A lot of them, if they've been earthbound for a really long time, they pretty much had it and they'll say fine. But there's still those that enjoy torturing people and going in their houses, even if it is torture mentally. And they're afraid of retribution.
Hmm.
I don't believe in God and I don't believe in hell and I don't believe in heaven, but they're there standing with the white light around them because yes, they have it around them also. And now they're thinking, well, golly, maybe there is something more, and they're just safer staying and not going.
Melody loves Eugene's idea of a late night talk show.
Oh, thank you so much, Melanie. Yep. I could just see me giving, let's see, who's on at night? Jimmy Kimmel. I could give him a run for his money. I don't think so.
You know what? We just do YouTube and Twitch late night. It'll be all good.
Yeah, right.
Sandy says maybe we are more open to Earthbound since plenty of folks relate to fall to shadow season and are looking for them.
And I think you're probably right, Sandy, because people are looking for them more this time of the year. I mean, look at all the people that go to the haunted houses. Look at all the people that are doing tours now down at the prison. I mean, that's what people are doing. This is their fun season to go find a ghost. Wear your charm. Please wear your charm when you do your happy haunting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. Dylan says, do you think it's easier to catch spirits on cameras with film or is the digital okay? I don't seem to have as much luck catching things on my cell phone camera as opposed to a regular camera.
And you're right, Dylan. And I tell everybody if you really, really, really want to get good pictures of ghosts, use film, not digital. And if you can get fast speed film and definitely black and white. In other words, you don't want color film. But keep this in mind, there it's very hard to find film now. I think we've only got about another year and a half before they even quit making it. And the only reason I'm saying digital is okay for the museum is that 2 or 3 years ago when we were there, people got terrific pictures with their cell phones, which shocked me because I didn't think that was absolutely possible. Cell phones are really good for catching orbs, more so than film, I believe. But in my opinion, still, film is the best to catch a ghost, except if it's the merry-go-round museum.
So we have a little bit of a discussion, if not debate, going on about this time of the year, whether or not the thinning of the veil, if there is a veil, and belief versus reality. So City is asking, is there any truth about it becoming thinner? And my response is always, it's a veil. It's always thin. If the veil
Well,
gets any thinner, there's no barrier.
right.
Um,
And you can actually, if you sit and play around, you can actually find a reason for each month of the year for it to be active for earthbound spirits. I mean, you've got, the 4 season changes, which, and if you're a Wiccan, those are celebrated highly, especially fall and spring. So again, you're listening to what has been going on for 100 years now and thinking it's the only time that this is active, and that is not true.
Let's see. Brooke says maybe I should record a little bit of the Carousel Museum for the podcast. As we can see, I don't know, Marianne, maybe when we're done, if we do a quick walkthrough, you could talk about what you're seeing, what's there, see if we get names, dates, phone numbers, run it past the owners. Kind of like what we did with the Stanley, but this time it'll be the Carousel Museum.
Let's see. Usually after something like that, you don't know how many people are going to stay. We don't know how many people are going to walk into this event bringing their ghost with them.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know who's going to show up.
Right. So if it lends itself to it, we can do it because we'll already be there. It's a bit of drive for both of us to get
To
there.
get there. Yes, it is.
So if we can do it, we definitely will. Let's see. Scrolling past the inner.
Remind people that the third Tuesday of this month is the 18th, and it's the book club, and they serve bagels in heaven is the book. This is not a learning thing. This is just a fun book to read. It's really cute. And we are giving a heads up. We need more people to start attending these, or next month is going to be the last one for it. It's not worth coming all the way, coming out if for 5 or 6 people. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Melanie says, you're way better than Jimmy Kimmel, and he couldn't hold a candle.
Yeah, he's way quicker than me, though, believe me.
Well, see, though, on your late night, you wouldn't have to hold back. This is where you can let down the filters and, the restraints that you have. Because it's going to be late night.
Late night, yeah.
Oh, Tracy, good idea. Says my hubby is a photographer. If you buy camera film and keep it in the fridge, it'll last several years before you have to use it. So if you're somebody who uses film,
yes, as a matter of fact, I have probably 15 rolls of film in the freezer actually. So she's right. It does. It's a good place for it. Yes.
Vicky says there better be cream cheese in heaven too with them bagels. It says go to the book club. Laura says my father passed away a couple of months ago, so I was wondering if he was around me.
If it's only been a couple of months, then I don't know, because you can tell if somebody's crossed over when you see them in a dream. And usually you don't get a first dream of somebody that's died for about 6 months. So it's a little too early. The other thing that you can do, though, is come on Zoom and let's see if he's around.
Mm-hmm. Sandy says she's still trying to convince her husband to spend part of his birthday at the Carousel Museum, which would be great if we could. And there is still room for Sunday at the merry-go-round. I saw the question. There is room. So if you go to the store's website, you can sign up for that. Divine says, has Marianne ever found a celebrity ghost who was attached to a non-celebrity?
Well, I found a lot of celebrity ghosts on studio lots. And so they were more attached to the process of making a movie or a television show. I have found celebrities in their houses that they used to own that are now owned by regular people that aren't celebrities. So yes, I have definitely run across people like that. Absolutely.
I was smiling because Otto says, I think my house is haunted by a chicken. What a foul spirit. Is it a poultrygeist? I plan on finding an exorcist to help it cross the other side. Please don't kick me out.
Very cute. Very cute. You're quick. That's good.
Brooke wants to know if they have pumpkin bagels in heaven.
I guess you need to read the book.
Meg says, hi, are shadow people earthbound spirits? If not, what are they?
They can be either or. And again, just because you see a figure that is all dark like a shadow does not mean they're bad. That could be a spirit that is crossed over too, but that is how you are seeing them. So don't think that they're always bad just because they're dark. That is not true. And again, they could be either or. So without a phone call from the house or Zoom, I wouldn't know if you have anything or not.
Sandy says she would love to talk to the seal ball. Can you make that happen?
Well, now keep this in mind. When I clear a house and there's somebody that owns the house really wants to talk to, say, their mom that died, and we know that she's crossed over. So what I will tell them, the next time you dream of mom, tell her to go find which celebrity or famous person you want to meet. Have your mom talk to them and see if they'll come in a dream. I've had people ask for John Lennon, for Cary Grant, for Marilyn Monroe, and that's just people that have asked for people that are in, show business. But there are people that are engineers and scientists that I've done work for that, that definitely they want to be around people that were in their fields. So everybody has a different type of thing that they want to see or talk to.
Let's see. Christine wants to know if you've been to Landall's Mohican Castle.
I have. I have.
We were there together.
Yes. Yes, we were. And yes, there were ghosts.
Dia says, Marianne, I don't know if you've read the book The Lovely Bones. But says the ghosts were in a sort of dream state that floated between the present and another dimension. Are they fully here or in and out?
I don't know, because I would have to read the book. I don't think earthbound spirits go into other dimensions, though. I've never seen, no, let's put it this way. I've never run across an earthbound spirit that has jumped into our dimension, so I don't know. And again, unless it's that ghost show that everybody's talking about on TV, ghosts don't hang out with one another. So I would almost say no to that.
Let's see. Divine wants to know if either one of us have been to the Winchester House, and I have not yet.
I was supposed to, and I got some information. We were supposed to go to that place and do it for Ghost Whisperer. And something came up and it got canceled for some reason. I'm going to guess that the studio wanted more than the Winchester wanted to give as far as letting us come in and film. And that's why it got canceled. As far as I know, unless somebody out there knows, I don't think there has ever, I know they've done stories on the Winchester House and how weird it is with the steps and everything, but I don't know if there have ever been a paranormal group that has actually gone through the Winchester House. That I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Maybe someday I'll get out there. Like, I was fascinated by it years ago, and now I'm just kind of like, if I get there, I get there. There's a few other places I'd like to.
The Queen Mary is definitely haunted.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. It is. But I have found out that most cruise lines are.
Well, now it's because of our economy, and American economy sucks. It's actually cheaper for retirees to go cruising around, get off, go visit family for a few weeks, and then get back on a cruise again, because it's cheaper living than your old folks living. You get medical, you get food, you get care. And if you die on the boat, they take care of your body until you port.
Right.
It's cheaper to cruise around in retirement age than it is to go live in a community.
There was somebody's house that I did, and the woman had suitcases packed, or an overnight bag packed. When I walked in, I saw that, and I'm thinking, she must be going on vacation someplace or overnight, because, if you go by with what I pack, I would 3 suitcases. So, we got all done getting rid of the ghosts. I said, "You're going on vacation?" She says, "Yeah, I'm going to my sister's for 3 weeks. She lives in Detroit." And I said, oh, I said, okay. And I'm looking at this thinking her sister must have a washer dryer in the house because she couldn't live for 3 weeks and what's in that little bag. This is what my mind's thinking, right? And I said, what are you driving or how are you getting there? She goes, no, no. She says, I'm taking the bus to the casino in Detroit. It only costs $20 to take the bus to the casino, and I won't even go in. I'll get off, and my sister will pick me up at the casino. And when I'm ready to come home, I'll just go back to the casino and use my ticket to come back home. Apparently, people are doing that to get to Canada casinos all over. If they've got relatives there, it's way cheaper to take a $20 bus ride than to drive or fly or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Be thrifty and crafty. Like,
that's right.
Why not?
Do it.
Heather wants to know about this house of Seven Gables in Salem. Nathaniel Hawthorne's former house. I've been there. It's a teeny tiny house. And I say that because depending on who's measuring me at the doctor's office, I'm anywhere from 5'6.5" to 5'7". And there were times where we're bigger now than back then. We're taller as a species. And so, the ducking around and it was a neat little house. I didn't really pick up anything supernatural, paranormal in it.
I've been there and I'm not impressed with it either. As far as I'm concerned, they're making a lot of good money for themselves as far as I'm concerned. Let's rank it. I'm sorry. I'm going to rank it right up there with the Stanley Hotel.
I was going to say like a certain hotel we know about.
Yeah, well, say it what it is. It's true. So, yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you who else had a little hovel of a house, and I understand now why he wrote so weirdly. Edgar Allan Poe. I was in his house on the East Coast. Talk about a dump. I'm not kidding you. The steps were crooked. You had to bend all the way down. The room he wrote in was half the size of my kitchen. It was so tiny. There was a bed in it and a little writing desk. But I don't even, well, maybe because of how he lived, that he had those very, weird thoughts to write the way he did. But his place was terrible.
Let's see. Have you ever come across a victim haunting the person who murdered them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I have. And it was the one I'm thinking about local, there was a young girl that killed a fast food worker like at 2:00 in the morning. And of course, since COVID, no, there's nothing open to 2:00 in the morning anymore. Right. But the woman came out and yelled at her for what she did, and she just took the knife and killed her. And the woman was haunting her because of that, and she did not cross over, and she was going to haunt her in prison until the person that killed her died. I could not get her to cross over. Of course, she was only 21 when she was killed, so that probably has something to do with it.
A little bit of anger in that. I can understand that. Melody asks, can the outside of a home have negative energy on it, even if your quin seeds are in place and the inside is clear of negative energy?
When I do a property, if the house is negative, I will clear that automatically. Like if I drive down a street, I can tell if I glance at a house if the house has got a curse on it or negative energy by what it looks like as far as an aura, if you want to call it, around that. So if the quin seeds, now if you've got outside buildings on your property, barns or sheds or chicken coops or whatever, unless they are also protected with a seed, that negative energy could be on those things, but no. Now, you could have an earthbound spirit try to get in the house, but they can't because of the quin seeds. And maybe you felt, energy from that outside, but they wouldn't stay very long because that would take a lot of energy to try to get in.
I'm just kind of laughing. So I'm thinking of my old house and that garage and what could or couldn't be going on right now. Poor Nikki. Um, that house.
That house, the one that fits that whole description.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And what's hilarious is the paranormal group that meets at our store went out to Kipton, did a walk, and I guess some people got some really cool pictures from behind that garage. Because when you're walking on that path, you can see because the house sits on a corner, kind of catty cornered, and you see the back end of that garage, and there's space between the back of the garage and the property line and fence. And I guess they got some stuff going on the property behind that garage. And Mary, and I don't know if you remember when I was there still and you would see it at the house and everything for me. Like I was still having issues in the garage with the old man, twisting gas cap tanks and moving things. And at one point, I was tired enough that all my shields and barriers were down that I would catch glimpses of his khaki pants or his shirt moving around in there. And he would only mess with my car, never the ex-husband's car. And I'm like, I know damn well I twisted that, back on and get in the morning, check engine light, gas cap. And I'm like,
There
stop
it goes. Right.
with my car. Go mess with his.
Right.
So I'm not surprised that there's still some stuff. But you crossed that fella over, if it was the same one. So, but that town just always has something going. So
I know there are people that do that. I am not one of them because, number one, my math is terrible. I've never been very good in math. But apparently, there is a belief system that, and it has something to do with longitude and latitude and where the property is located on that, say, schematic, that there are fault lines and latitude and longitude lines that do bring power in that is supposed, and I'm wondering if it's something like that old house of yours is on, but I don't have enough knowledge about that. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to find out about that.
yeah. What people are saying, like, yeah, ley lines.
Okay, see, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. I started reading up on it like years ago, way back when. There's also the whole feng shui when you're on a corner. Um, or is it like when you're on a dead end in the street and if like the momentum of the traffic would like be running into your house all the time, like that can create problems. And it sits on this funky little like corner here, but there's also like this little weird triangle with like traffic that's just constantly moving. It's not just a straight intersection or a dead end. So there was that weird thing to where if you're somebody who needs a crossroads to go leave things in, like that house was perfect.
Right.
But just that house. My shaman teacher was like, it had been a funeral home, spirits were crossing. You do that work in your work. So that's why it's so drawn to you. It's comfortable to you and you're comfortable to it. And the land doesn't want you to leave. And I'm like, yeah, it needs to let go. And got out. And there's somebody there now who has similar beliefs, just doesn't do everything that I do. So I'm not surprised that there's still little things going on that property.
Yeah, no, like I said, there just may be more to that than I know.
Yeah. We're gonna have to go out there and do something in that town.
Yeah.
Important. Dylan wants to know, were you ever called out for the Amy Mihalovic murder? I feel like a psychic or medium could have had this solved by now.
Yes, I was definitely called in on Amy Mihalovic. And I got really angry when I gave them information, and the FBI thought that I was a potential person to have killed her. So sometimes it's not always good to know what you know and tell somebody that you think should help. But yeah, I did. And of course, And yeah, I definitely know that that was a big old mess. That's for sure. And when they found her body, they did call me in on that also. And I gave him the information that I could. The man that killed her doesn't live here anymore. The man that killed her, the last I knew, was in Pennsylvania. So I don't know what gone. He was still doing nasty things in Pennsylvania, but for some reason, they never put the two together. I, jurisdiction, Pennsylvania kept it, Ohio kept it, blah blah blah. And of course Amy's mother is dead now. She died very badly, and she's buried in Wisconsin, and that is actually where Amy is buried now, also in Wisconsin. But yeah, there's a lot to that story, and I've talked to her brother, and it could have been solved, but it didn't. That's all I can say.
Mm. Amy wants to know if we could do a podcast on my house, and my mom also lives in that town, and her house had some weird stuff on there, and I don't even think I've told you everything that's ever happened in her house. And I've only really seen spirits or shadow people like maybe 5 times in my life, and like 3 of them happened in her house. And the only time that I've ever been like, I kind of don't want to go in there and deal with it, has been her house.
And you have to take into consideration why some houses seem like nothing ever happens, and in other houses, something always happens. I mean, your house, your old house that your friend is now living in, that can be explained to a point. Your mother's house could also be explained to a point also. Again, the area is close to your old house. However, your mom and dad have had a lot of health issues with everybody in that house for such a long time. That has a tendency to bring in spirits, because look how stressed out you are, look how scared you are, look how worried you are. And when you're dealing with stuff like that, with that kind of energy, you may not be a type A personality, but your life is a type A life, and you're going to end up with spirits hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we may have to go record, or at least I have to go out there while we're recording, while you can
Right.
stay at home.
Right.
Z says, I put a note outside my door addressed to the dead, the location of the nearest funeral home, and to go into the light. Ghosts can really read them?
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that think that there is a ghost in your house, that's the same thing. Just take, one sheet of paper and write on one side of it. They're not going to flip it, but on one side of it, go to Johnson's funeral home when there's a viewing going on, and use the white light. You can go that way. And it has worked for a lot of people to do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, provided that they could read in life, they're going to be able to read in death. So
that's right. Absolutely.
Let's see if I'm missing any questions. We're actually a little over 11, so we went a little longer today, which is quite all right. But, just to recap, the link there on the screen is to join Zoom if you feel like you might have any spirits in your home. The little caveat that I don't think I mentioned before is that you must be in the location during the Zoom that you have the question about. You can't be at work on break if your question is about your house. Don't be at your mom's house if your question is about your house or a cousin's house or your aunt's house, unless they all live in the same house. Because Marianne will only be able to see clearly what the Zoom camera's on. But everybody gets to have answers to their questions. That link is there. The next one is on the 14th, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Merry-Go-Round Museum in Sandusky, we still have some room if you want to join us this Sunday on the 9th. It's one of the few places where I had to keep stepping outside because I kept getting dizzy in there. While everybody was walking around, I go sit outside for a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, and then go right back in and make sure nobody is lost in the museum or,
And
everybody's-
there are steps there. So if you are planning on coming, wear comfortable shoes because there's a whole, you are on the first floor and you're down in the basement, which is not your typical basement. That's where their workrooms are and everything and storage. So, and you have free access to all of that. But keep in mind, steps are involved. So, this isn't the place for your 4-inch heels, believe me.
No. And be cognizant of that if you have like knee problems, mobility, that there are stairs even to get into the building on the main floor. But yeah, there's still room. Feel free to come join us, get some really cool pictures. These horses and animals and sea monsters and so many things that go onto a carousel that you get to see. And Sandy's like, and the creepy pigs.
Seriously.
Why anybody would put their child on that and think like they're going to have a great time. I don't know. But it's really neat artwork. And when we were there last time, like they were actually actively carving new horses, and they will answer questions and let you watch them do it downstairs, and rehab, other pieces. So
amazing. And and of course the new ones they're making are beautiful, but some of them that they have collected are worth thousands of dollars.
exactly.
Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So,
I am not the only one.
No, I'm sure you're not. But then there are people that absolutely collect pigs. So I'm sure those pigs are beautiful to them. So I know.
Like Renee, yeah, she's like, it was fun to watch the horse restorers and the sculptors. And
yeah. And Renee came in from Minnesota to this. So she came a long way, her and her sister. But I think they enjoyed it. I think they had a good time.
Yeah, the sea monster from the 1920s. And that one was really cool looking. It was pretty too. Like,
right.
Yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Brooke. Yes, to subscribe, ring the bell, help us share friends. If you have anybody that is remotely interested in any of this, please share with them and have them watch. It helps us. Especially if, you want us to entertain the idea of like going on location in other places and you get to meet us. Like we need to know that there's enough people that are into this before we can do that, because we front all the money for the travel up front. So we want to make sure, everybody has a good time with that. Miss Piggy is beautiful, but not these pigs. And wait till you see the pictures of these things.
Right.
Are not. Well, thank you for signing up, Dope. We'll see you soon on the 14th for that. Talk about bribery.
Yeah.
But Marianne, unless you have anything else, if I forgot anything.
No, I think you got it covered. I think this is good. I think the weather's going to be good on Sunday. We should have it. It's going to be cold, but that's okay. And I think we should have a good time.
Yes. I'm seeing like our new friend Dope lives in Oregon. So if you ever want us traveling, like we need more.
Wait a minute. She's coming. Oh, on Zoom. Okay.
On Zoom, but not to the American.
Okay. I was going to say, wow. Okay.
Yeah, not to the merry-go-round from
okay.
Just a Zoom. But yeah, thanks everybody. Make sure you check us back. We do every Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you're new and just found us today, join us next week. Thanks
everybody.
Bye.